Welcome to Salcedo Paranormal. It is Monday, October 10th, 2022, and tonight I'll be covering paranormal news. As always, you can find all of the shows, along with links to social media, ways to donate, and ways to contact me at the podcast page. And that is salcedoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have questions or comments or topic suggestions, or if you have stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to share those either by reading them or having you join me on the show to talk about them. And so for tonight, I have all the articles that I'll be talking about in place in the stream chat. And of course, I will include those links on the episode description for the podcast and YouTube feeds. So I know in the past few news shows, I've covered a lot of reports of haunted places. This one is a little different. These are not quite in that category this time. So, but I figure it'll be a good change, and I'm sure we'll get back to those other kinds of articles again soon. So, which I'm always happy about, but just to give you all a little bit of variety here. So, thank you all for listening, whether you're here for the live streams or the you listen to the podcast or YouTube feeds. I always appreciate all of your support. So, I'll get to this first article here. This is from, these first two articles are actually from ancient-origins.net. And they put out a lot of amazing articles. And not just short ones either. Their articles are always, from what I've seen, very much in depth and cover a lot of ground there. So I definitely recommend that site to anyone that has interest in the past, really. So this first article I'm going to look at here is, the title is 3 Scientific Mysteries of Plato's Atlantis. And of course, most people have heard of the idea of, excuse me, this lost ancient civilization of Atlantis. Excuse me, and that somehow vanished, and now there's debate as to where it was at. So this article is talking about this, and it mentions 3 things from Plato's writings that apparently are scientific mysteries, as the title says, that the author of this article here talks about. So, let me see here. Mentions the most well known, I guess, mystery of this whole thing is geographical, as to where it was at. And then the second mystery is the date of the cataclysmic event that it says destroyed Atlantis and had it swallowed by an earthquake, and then a subsequent flooding that sunk basically the whole landmass. And it mentions the final mystery here, which is, according to the author, is let me see here. Looking at this. Okay. The last mystery, it says, the author of this article says, is they say the so-called god Poseidon and his wife, who was immortal, who were, it mentions, so they're mentioned apparently in Plato's writings. And So the I'm guessing this is related to Atlantis in some way. I'm still not quite um, getting to where I'm not understanding where this is related to that area, but still amazing that the legend here, it says, is that these two were able to uh, create 5 sets of twins that apparently, yeah, that they had. Mentions that Plato states that this is a true story or true history of the world, and not mere legend, but actual fact. So, let me go back to the part here that mentions the Poseidon and everything. So let me see. I think I missed it. Yeah, I'm not seeing it again. But okay, so here we go. Yeah, so it mentions Poseidon and his wife were able to produce 5 sets of twin sons. And so yeah, I wasn't aware of that even being a thing or connected to Atlantis. But it goes into more detail about each of these things here. I'm gonna scroll down and see what it mentions about the whole Poseidon thing, because I hadn't heard of that before. Let's see here. Okay, so apparently, Poseidon and his wife here, in this article, they mentioned that this this couple was in Atlantis, and they had these 5 sets of twins. Mentions that it's an unusual number of sets of twins being born to the same couple, apparently. And let's see here. So they mentioned the odds of that being extremely small. But let's see here. So looking at this more. Okay. So yeah, it goes into more of the detail about this. And but just the subject of Atlantis has always been fascinating to me, and now this whole other aspect of it that I'd never heard of, which I may have to look into, which is this god and basically leading to children of this one god or supposed god. Again, God in terms of just a name for some kind of being that has extraordinary abilities, I think is the best way to look at that. But so it looks like a good article. It goes into a lot more detail than I can try to cover here. So definitely check out the rest of it for everything that I'm missing and or leaving out. So so I think that'll take care of that one for now. Again, this next one is also from ancient-origins.net. And the title is, and I'm not sure if I'm going to say this right, The Avesta and Zoroastrianism. The creation, disappearance, and resurgence of an ancient text. And this goes back to this Zoroastrianism. I'm going to be messing up that name here the rest of tonight. The rest of this part of the show. This is actually an ancient religion. Zoroastrianism is apparently an ancient religion, I'm guessing. And this Avesta is a religious text of this, or is a text of this religion, and it was said to have been written again by a god associated with that religion. And this goes back as far as 224 to 651 AD. but the stories of it, or the basis of it, goes back even further. It says so. Um, looks like the this yeah. So they're talking about how it was written down. When it was finally written down, it was also written on golden sheets. That's expensive right there. That means they put a lot of importance in it. So, um, they have pictures here of associated with it, and so looking at the rest of this here, it goes into a lot more detail. Again, I just really find these kind of ancient texts that are supposedly come right from otherworldly beings to always be something worth looking into, and important, and possibly links to maybe there are these other worldly beings that have existed in the past, and who knows, maybe they do still exist today. So that's that article here. Again, there's pictures and there's a lot more text in here, and it goes into the details of what is in this text, and how it was created and then rediscovered, apparently. So another good article there. So let me check on the chat here. We're kind of done with the ancient civilization category here now, moving into just the paranormal in general. And this next article here is from thetravel.com. And it covers something that I've done shows on, and had help with on those from Jen Hawkins. So again, if you want any shows on, if you're looking for shows about mountains, we did a whole 2 or 3, I forget how many episodes, on mountains and the paranormal a while back, which was a lot of fun. And we talked about this mountain a little bit, but here's an article about this, which is, the title says Bigfoot, UFOs, and Astral Gateways, a paranormal guide to Mount Shasta. So it mentions that this is located in Siskiyou County in California. Elevation is 14,179 feet, or 4,322 meters. Apparently, it was it's also a potentially active volcano on top of everything else. So, it mentions that this mountain has been significant to a lot of people throughout time, through legends, and it also has been, people have reported strange things happening there. Mentions Native American legends, where the people there believe that the mountain is the sacred center of the universe, which is really amazing. It says some tribes believe that it is the home of the Creator. So let's see here. Looking into more of this here. And okay. Just trying to summarize this more. So, looking into trying to skip ahead to the paranormal sides of this here. But yeah, it's basically just a hotspot known for people seeing other species, other beings walking around. Even to the point where there are these legends of these beings known as Lemurians, who are described as being over 7 feet tall, dressed in white robes, and they use gold as their currency, it says, and are supposedly responsible for summoning clouds that are known to gather around the peak of the mountain and some of these clouds are saucer shaped, which is odd. It's an odd synchronicity here in a way. Okay. In a way because of all the I've been seeing for a little while now articles about these saucer shaped clouds, and I don't know what they are. I don't know if there's anything strange about them, other than the fact that they are in that shape. But the article mentions this possible idea that these clouds within these clouds are actual ships that dock at Mount Shasta, which is an amazing idea. If these things are somehow out and taking basically beings are coming and going from the top of the mountain through these ships. So, let's see here. Mentions that a lot of people visit the area, and I'm guessing that means, or that's how a lot of these reports through locals and then just through people visiting. That's how so many things, including as the article says here, Bigfoot and UFOs are seen there. And then if you have astral travel, you could be seeing what would almost appear possibly as ghosts, or even just orbs or lights. That could be something else maybe that would be seen that could be associated with that. So, neat article there. Again, touching on something that we've talked about in the show before. So let's see here. Let me check on the chat. And thank you all again for being here. I see you there. So this next article is from YouGov.com. That's YouGov.com. And this article, the title is "A Growing Share of Americans Believe Aliens Responsible for UFOs." And it mentions that this is a polling organization, apparently, at least part in part anyway. And it has done different polls on over the years on the subject. Apparently, it did one in the 1990s, or 1996. Only 20% of Americans believed that UFOs were more likely to be proof of alien life than to have a natural scientific explanation, which is 32%. Today, it says 34% of Americans believe UFOs are likely alien ships or life forms, while only 32% say they're likely to have a scientific explanation. So let's see here. It goes into a lot of numbers here, but it's just I love to see these polls done and see how things change. And I'm not going to go over all the numbers, but it does mention other paranormal activity and the different results that they got for that. So, and it mentions that this poll was conducted between September 9th and 12th, this year among 1,000 U.S. adult citizens. And so, yeah, neat article there talking about the people's ideas about what's going on up there in the sky and what's responsible for it. So definitely check out the rest of the article for more details. And that leads me to this last article here, which is from universetoday.com. And it says, the title is, "How Should the World's Governments Respond If We Detect an Alien Civilization?" And I think that's a good question. I'm glad to see that there are scientific papers that are being done on this question. which is what this article is talking about. A new paper titled "Geopolitical Implications of a Successful SETI," which is a search for extraterrestrial intelligence, I believe, program. Excuse me. And it mentions that this paper is the latest in a series of them, or at least in a series of a conversation going on among professionals, professional thinkers, it says, on this topic. So, in this paper, it says it's a response to an article before called "The Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, a Real Politic Consideration." Looking at this more here. So, mentions that a lot of the thinking around extraterrestrials surrounds the risks of searching for them. And let's see here. Mentions what if they are technically advanced and menacing. Goes over all the possibilities here. Unfortunately, it's going right to the idea of them all being hostile, which I don't like to go to that route directly, or to think that's going to be the only route possible. I think I've said this before, but I feel like it's really hard, just as it would be hard for everyone here on this planet to come up with like one single response to any kind of contact. I'd be worried about one single response from aliens. And that's not even considering the possibility of multiple civilizations or species that we could end up being in contact with. So, anyway, just a good thing to bring up and think about. But I always feel like it's best to be careful and not jump towards the worst possible solution, but also not to assume that everything will just work out fine. I don't think it's ever that simple. So, good article here that goes deeper into that. And so definitely check out the rest of the article. And that takes care of all the stuff that I have to share today. So, thank you all for being here and for listening. And it was these were fun articles to go through because they kind of talk about different things and bigger pictures, both in the past and in the present and the future. And so yeah, it was fun to cover these articles, even if I did stumble over a lot of it, because there's just so much information in each one of these articles. So, but thank you all for listening, and I will be back tomorrow night with true paranormal stories from the web on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care, everyone.